Extend your legs in staff pose. And when you're doing this, if you can't get your legs straight, then you would want to get a cushion to sit on. And so, even with this cushion, if you still couldn't get your legs straight or your back was really bending, then you would want even a thicker cushion or two underneath your seat, okay? That'll just make the whole process a lot more comfortable. Our first pose is going to be seated spinal twist. I'm bending my right knee. I can leave my foot right here, or I can cross it over to get a little deeper stretch. But let me point this out. You want the foot to make contact with the floor and the knee to stay up. If the knee falls to the side like this, you're not going to be getting the stretch you want. In that case, you want to bring your foot back to the right, okay? Now I'm crossing my leg. I'm going to support it with the opposite arm. Take a deep inhalation. I'll also notice my toes and my knee are up. Okay, so my foot's a little flexed, and that's going to give me more stretch in the back of my leg. Lengthen the spine with an inhalation, and I'm gently twisting toward my right with my exhalation. I'm letting my head turn as well, but now I'm going to face you so that you can pick up my voice a little better. All right, so the beauty of this pose is it helps loosen up the muscles in your glutes. And these muscles will help you with your forward fold. Plus, when we sit a lot, the muscle gets tight and winds up pinching our sciatic nerve. So you might find that this gives you relief. Now let's take a deep inhalation and lengthen the spine. And with an exhalation, gently come out of the twist and switch. So now you're bending your left knee. Remember, you can keep it here. You can cross it over. Knee and toes are pointing up, supporting the knee with the opposite arm. Remember, if the knee wants to flop down or the foot doesn't make contact with the floor, you might need to move your foot back to the left, holding that knee, just supporting it. Lengthen your spine with an inhalation and gently twist with your exhalation. Let your head turn toward the left with your entire body. So notice, we're turning our body in the direction of whichever knee is up. That's part of what gives you that nice stretch in your glute. If you were to turn the other way, you really wouldn't get the stretch that we're looking for. We're breathing deeply, sending that breath into whatever part of our body is feeling the tension. With your next inhalation, let's lengthen the spine and gently come out of the twist. All right, bring the knees up, let the knees float apart, soles of the feet together. Your feet can be close in or they can be far out, whatever you need. You just want to focus on having your back straight in a neutral position. Now, if you can keep your spine straight, then you can bring your feet closer in. And then also, if you can keep your spine straight, you can begin to lean forward a little bit. But remember, you want to be careful with your back. And we're not going to round the back. We're just leaning forward, getting a nice stretch in the inner thighs. Taking that deep breath and sending it into those muscles, inviting relaxation in the muscles. My hands are on the floor to help support the weight of my upper body. With my next inhalation, I'm going to come back up, and then I'm bringing my knees together and extending, repeating our spinal twist again, bending that right knee, finding what's right for you in this pose, lengthening the spine with an inhalation, twisting toward the knee that's up with the exhalation. Again, you're breathing deeply, sending that breath into these muscles that feel so tight. Inviting relaxation. Letting the muscles melt. finding a sense of ease. And on your next inhalation, you'll lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, gently come out of the twist. And we'll switch back to the left leg, bending that knee, keeping it here or crossing it over. Either one's fine. Again, the toes are pointing up, my knee's pointing up. Lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, gently twist toward the left. And remember, let your head follow. You're turning the spine all the way up the spine, including the neck. Breathing deeply. Inviting relaxation into the body. Inviting breath into these muscles. And again, take a deep inhalation, lengthen the spine, and gently, gently come out of the twist. Extending the legs for just a moment. Butterfly or cobbler's pose, you're bending the knees again, letting them float away from each other. Finding butterfly. Some people like to kind of bounce their knees a little bit in butterfly. You can do that if you wish. If your knees don't externally rotate like mine, that's fine. I've been doing this a little longer than most people. My hands are on the floor to help support the weight of my upper body. Remember, keep your back flat, don't round it. With your next inhalation, gently come up, hands assisting in the lift. All right, last set of this one. Extend your legs. Bending that right knee, keeping the foot here or crossing it over. Either one is fine. The knee and toes are pointing up, supporting this knee. Right hand behind you. Lengthen your spine with an inhalation. Gently twisting with an exhalation. Looking over your right shoulder. Taking deep breaths. Deep breaths. Just imagine these muscles getting longer and looser. Muscles getting longer and looser. And we'll take another deep inhalation, lengthening the spine. And gently come out of the twist. Extending that leg and now bending the left. Remember the knees and the toes on the right leg are pointing up. The left foot is here or crossing over, supporting that left knee. Lengthening your spine with an inhalation. Gently twisting with your exhalation. Looking over your left shoulder. Breathing deep. Inviting relaxation into the muscles. Imagining the muscles getting longer and looser. Longer and looser. You're looking over your left shoulder. With the next inhalation, you're lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, you're gently, gently coming out of your twist and returning to cobbler's pose or butterfly. Okay, some people call it cobblers, some people call it butterfly. Soles of the feet are together, knees are apart. Remember, you can lean forward a little bit if you want to. So maybe you can feel a little progress already. But maybe not. Breathe deeply. Imagine these muscles melting, stretching, lengthening. With your next inhalation, you'll gently come up. Great, okay. All right, so next we're going to work the hip flexors and the hamstrings. And this is where you might want to use the pillow to support your knees. Since I have 2 thicknesses of carpet here, I really don't need the pillows, but I do like to use the blocks here. So we come into our kneeling lunge. We did this in class. You're finding that stretch in your hip flexors, and you're going to come forward, okay? Hold that stretch. Now remember, you might need to be right here with your spine in neutral, but perhaps you need to come forward a little bit. Remember, you're breathing deep. Imagining these muscles lengthening. Okay, now for the hamstring muscles, we're going to straighten this leg. Notice how it's straight. I have my knee and my toes are pointing up. My foot is flexed. That's going to give me more stretch in the back of my legs. Here's where I like to use the blocks. We're folding out over this leg, and we're using the blocks to just help support our upper body. Maybe you're here, that's fine, but we want to go wherever we feel a stretch, and then pause and breathe. Breathe into that stretch. Okay, so you're sending your breath into those muscles, using your imagination, seeing those muscles getting longer and looser, and then we're going to come up a little bit and bend our knee, and then find the stretch in the hip flexor. Okay, stretch in the hip flexor. Pause here. Using your imagination, imagining sending breath to these muscles. Imagine the muscles getting longer and looser, longer and looser. Okay, now to the hamstrings. So we're coming forward, finding that stretch, flexing that foot. It really increases the intensity. Of course, you don't want too much here. You want to just find a yummy place in the stretch so that you'll want to do this again. Okay. It really can be a pleasant experience. Again, remember our visualization. We're imagining these muscles getting longer and looser. Imagine sending breath into these muscles. Okay, and this is the second time for the hip flexors on this leg. Okay, remember, neutral spine. Using our breath to bring comfort and ease into the body. Breathe in deeply. Okay, our last set for this side, and then we have to switch to the other side. Extending my leg, toes are pointing up, and I'm bending forward. Still trying to keep my back relatively flat. I don't really want to curve the back. Checking in with your breath. Checking in with your visualization. Inviting comfort and ease with the breath. And seeing these muscles getting longer and looser, longer and looser. Okay, now back up and stretch. Breathe in deep. And so as you do this, remember that yoga is cessation of the fluctuation of the mind. And so we want the mind to be focusing on this present moment, focusing on the breath and the body. Alrighty, now let's gently switch. Okay, we're going to switch. So you can just simply bring that foot forward, extend that leg, straight leg, toes are up, and we're going to bend out over the leg. Find this stretch. Remember the breath. Okay. All right. So now we're coming up, getting your hip flexor. Hip flexor in the supporting leg. Remember, you don't want to go sway back. Find the stretch in the hip flexor. The quadriceps of the leg that we're kneeling on. Bring awareness to the breath. Visualizing the muscles loosening, lengthening, melting. Okay, so that was our first set of those two for this leg. Now we're going to extend the right leg and bending forward. My toes are pointing up to give me a little deeper stretch. Okay, make your transition to your hip flexor stretch. You're coming up, bending that knee, neutral spine. Find that stretch. Connect with your breath. Send that breath into your quadriceps. Focusing on the breath and our visualization. Alrighty, so I believe we did our 3. So let's go ahead and come on down. And if you want to just try head to knee pose, feel free to do that. You can sit on your block. This is just a little extra. So we've got the left knee bent, the knee and toes are pointing up. We can lengthen our spine with a big inhalation. Exhale, gently come forward and see how you're doing here. And come on up and switch to the other side. Deep inhalation, reach those arms up. Exhale, forward fold, reaching for the foot. Head coming toward the knee. Hands to the floor and gently come up. So that was just a little test you can do at the end of each session just to see what kind of progress you're making. And this is also one of those poses where you might prefer sitting on a block or on a cushion. So again, we'll bring awareness to our breath. And we'll close this session. And thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to post below or send me an email or just ask in class. But thanks again for